to the Seawolves podcast. I'm Matt Corderay.
I'm Nick Greer.
I'm Lee Von Dunn.
And our guest is?
I'm Clarke.
A.K.A. Clarke.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, pleasure.
Well, one of my questions, like going through this and trying to think of good questions to ask Alan Clarke, the Alan Clarke.
We got one shot at this.
Yeah, right.
We got one shot at getting good questions.
I hope I do it right. Send me a coach.
Maybe he'll come back.
Yeah, right. So, what's your favorite part of coaching? What keeps you?
I think there are a number
You can answer
elements.
however you want.
Number of elements to that. Obviously, I love coaching. I love investing in other people. I love seeing them improve. I love bringing teams together, people together to formulate teams and see that cohesion within your team. And I love winning. And that competitive nature that I have, I'm able to live my passion through others. And I enjoy the challenge of developing teams and being part of a project, particularly this one, for a number of reasons. And yeah, it's about investing a lot of your own energy and expertise in others and then seeing them flourish in life. And it really fits with my philosophy in team first, player first. And recognizing that I'm simply a cog in the wheel, albeit one with responsibility, but nonetheless a cog in the wheel of the Seawolves being successful.
That was almost like rehearsed.
That's definitely
we had to give each other a bit of time before we switched.
It's easy to sound authentic when you are authentic.
Sincerely.
Yeah. It means a lot to me in life, and I've often said to the young men that I coach, and they're all young, because I have children close to their age, and it's like looking after your own kid. It's you want to guide them through life, you want to treat them with respect, but you also want to get that balance right between challenge and support while showing love for them. Our boys will tell you, I'm often quoted as saying, loving you doesn't mean it's always pat on the back. It's going to be all right. We'll get it next time. Loving you is actually pointing out, hey, we need to be better, and this is how you're going to be better, and this is what you need to do for you to be your absolute best, and for us to put our best product forward on the field on a regular basis. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win every game, but it means we're going to satisfy our own ambition in terms of performance levels that we aspire to deliver on a consistent basis.
Yeah, love it.
You also
love it.
Love it.
Love it, yeah.
You didn't think I was going to change.
No,
This is me.
Yeah, no, that's
And we have a whole lot of fun.
best part. Best part. So I'm building off of that. So, you've been making a lot of adjustments lately as the offseason tends to put coach in. And so when building the team, what considerations do you make when choosing a player? A lot of the average fans don't know about what you would think about or whatnot. So just kind of shed a little bit of light without, showing all your cards is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and there are no secrets there. And how do I think?
Yeah.
So I think I'm in a plane and the pilot's up the front. So I want him to be a good guy, but I want to ensure that he's qualified enough to do his job. And he's switched on to concentrate and taking us off, flying us safely and landing us safely. And you've got to be able to do your job and do it well. You've got to be a good person then also, so that you fit with the culture of our club, which I believe is strong. And critically, you must be ambitious. Gone are the days where players will arrive at the Seawolves to see out their career or just for the experience of living in a beautiful part of the world. And I want players and their wives and their children to experience that. But when we're working, when we're preparing, you've got to go back to team first. And without that, we won't have that resilience when it's required to come through those tough periods in the season if you don't live by that. There's enough time. And again, balance in life is really, really important. So I want the players to enjoy the experience and the beauty of this area, time together to socialise, different cultures, and we have many within the squad.
Yep.
But fundamentally, how do you judge yourself as a professional sportsman? And you left it all out there on the field, and you've got to do that consistently.
Do you find that a lot of the guys naturally do that, or do you feel like they need guidance?
Unless you know what good is and excellence is, you can be forgiven for being at 90% of your potential. Once you accept 90%, suddenly, well, why not 85%? And then if 85% is your ceiling, suddenly you're in a world of mediocrity. So for me, I start with myself. I come to work every day with the intention that I'm going to love work. I want the boys and the staff to feel like that as well. The people that I work with. And through that, you want to give more. Hatred's a very strong emotion, but love's more powerful. So I want the boys to love doing what they do. Because they give up a lot. They sacrifice a lot. And, when you hear a professional rugby player, there's maybe a perception that these guys have all the comforts of other sports in America. That's not the case. This is a growing sport.
Yeah.
A lot of the players that we have in our environment sacrifice career pathways that would earn much more money. And I would imagine everyone in this room earns significantly more money than the majority of our players. So they give a lot. They've already given that commitment. Well, if you're committing to it in that regard, fully commit, because it's a short win.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
It's deep, man. It's deep.
Yeah.
Not trying to make light of it by any means, but I'm going to throw in a curveball here because it is getting so deep. What would you like? What would you rather be, an alligator or a lion?
He's going to get deep with his answer, too.
That's okay, but I'm going to change it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm a lion. I'm a Leo. It's the badge I wear. So, and also I'll be able to navigate the water, not as well as an alligator, but I'll certainly be able to navigate the land better. So, yeah, a lion.
I love it.
I guess.
For new coaches, what activities have you been most successful with when creating team bonding? Kind of touches on what we were talking about a minute ago. So I figured just stay on top of that for now.
I've been introduced to Calvin, so that was I felt very honoured because I was aware of the tradition. And when I was invited, it was my first away game with the Seawolves way back in 2021. We went to DC and we played well. Lost a game we probably should have won, but there's a big Fijian community there, and they invited me as coach to remain and have a cup of Calvin. So I was very honoured to accept that invite. Maybe I regretted it the next morning.
So when you say a cup of coffee, you got Kona.
Well, you don't need, if you're not accustomed to something, it'd be like having poaching where I come from. If you're not accustomed to it, it has its effect. But that was wonderful. So there are cultural experiences, seeing families. We've grown as a club. We've got an ownership that welcome wives and partners, welcome children. I'm a really basic person, humble person. I enjoy cutting my neighbour's lawn, for instance, and getting a lot of satisfaction out of that. And likewise, I love seeing our players and their wives, their partners, their children intermingling, more so than maybe just going away as a bunch of lads, doing something like that. Yeah, the growth of the identity of what a Seawolf is now is very special to me, and hearing stories from third parties about how wonderful the players have been, listening to Nick at times and yourself, sharing stories of, you know, how Ian Footy presented himself. People don't see that on the scoreboard or on television, but to me, it's a real organic growth of who we are and what we are, how we invest in the community.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Like some of those characters that people don't get to see off the pitch, like they're humble. They're really good teammates. They really support each other. I think after the Western Championship last year was my aha moment with your team.
Yeah,
and it was quite the honor to be a part of it. To watch the guys and how they all get along so fabulously.
yeah.
So good. Like you can't manufacture that. That is just a bond amongst people.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I want to win trophies.
Oh yeah.
I love winning
At
trophies.
the end of the day, that's the drive.
That's why I'm here. But there's a bigger journey in terms of growing the game as well, because there are 12 other teams who want to win a trophy. So every team sets out each year. You know, that's the pinnacle for us. Does that mean 12 other teams fail at the end of the season? And we had our best season last year. You know, won 12, lost 4, and yet we got to the semi-finals in my work. But in terms of win-loss ratio, tries for, tries conceded, all top of the tree. You know, in the top 3 in the right across the leagues in the toughest conference as well. So there are many aspects of the Seawolves and many experiences within the season that have been absolutely wonderful, and some of them are just seeing Samu and his reaction with the younger players. You know, Andrew Duratello with the Shane Barry. It's, you know, those experiences really they keep you young. They keep you enthusiastic to keep coming back and delivering the best you can.
I'm gonna iterate on that too.
Please.
Being in Rugby, I told Matt this.
Are you a rookie? I never knew who a rookie was. You love rugby. Rugby shoots.
being in Rob, hello, but it doesn't sit still. I am huge.
Rooting for all the kids out there. All the kids are going,
They're so
parents,
disappointed.
the parents are big fingers and ears. It's like Father Christmas.
So, knowing Rocky, and me and him have talked about this before.
I get it.
Having the I told Matt this is one of my favorite stories. Having the chance, I don't remember what game that was. It was the Houston game. It was the Houston play, the first playoff game this last year. Samu wasn't playing. He was. It might not have been that game. It was towards the end of the season. It might have been that game, but I'm not sure. But he was he wasn't suited up. He was where the standing room only is. But Ina was on the far. They were playing on our side, on the player side of the pitch. Ina was out on this side, and I'm in between Ina and Samu, and Samu was coaching him in between, and to hear him coach, and Ina just turned around and took that and ran with it and applied it to the other players and getting stopped. And I think they might have got stopped on that play and took the ball back. And I'm like, it just gave me chills going, like, that's like, man, that's him giving his rugby knowledge and passing it down to this guy. And this guy's like, boom, we're going to implement it right now. And it goes, and it just, that implement, like his command of the younger guys.
It's such a poignant fact that players like Samu, there aren't enough of them in America at present. There will be. Like Samu, I'd love to have coached Samu when I was younger. I've really enjoyed coaching him in the period that I've been here. But that's how young players will improve. In the moment, they're being coaches on the field. High quality players, either American or overseas players, to complement and work with and play with the likes of young Ina. That's the future of American rugby in a nutshell, and that's how we'll accelerate development. So, knowing what we're about as a team, and then complementing the best young American players with more experienced American players and quality overseas players. It's always about World Cup cycles. When I was performance manager for the IRFU, Irish Rugby Football Union, we introduced this concept of it's not just about the Six Nations. So we didn't work in 1 year cycles. We worked in 4 year cycles. In fact, people like Johnny Sexton were identified 9 years out from a World Cup.